sovereignty of the people, Mr. Speaker. If you look at Article 159 on what we call judicial authority, Mr. Speaker, and I say this because when I read the report, three government officials appeared before this committee. The first one to appear before this committee was the Attorney General. And the Attorney General, when he was asked why these people for the last 29 years have not gotten their terminal dues, have not gotten their benefits, have not gotten their wages at that time, and have not gotten their contribution gotten by sheer sweat in their labor at that time and then contributed to a scheme that they were supposed to contribute to. They have not gotten their dues up to date. What did the Attorney General say? He deferred to a court ruling that brought what we call judicial technicality. What did the CS of Treasury say to this committee? And this is a CS that I'm disappointed because I'm from ODM and we donated him to the Kenya Kwanza government as an expert. What is the response that the report shows us? That CS Mbadi had the audacity to say that they cannot pay this money or even plan for it because there's a legal technicality. Then the CS for cooperative, again, an expert from our side, also appeared before this committee and had the audacity to tell this committee that there's a judicial technicality. What does this new constitution say about judicial authority that we are given just as much as the judiciary is given? If you read Article 159, 2D, it says that justice shall be administered without undue regard to procedural technicalities. Because by the time these petitions were coming to us as a house, they had explored every possible avenue of judicial authority. They had explored a lower court that ruled to their favor, and then the second court of appeal ruled against them. And therefore they reached to this house as the only last source of recourse to them. And then what's happening in this house that I'm seeing, Mr. Speaker? Senators lamenting. Senators lamenting that there's nothing they can do. I do respect the committees of this house, but surely when people who their children right now have got their children, people who worked by 1997 in KCC, their children are now maybe those who gave birth on that date when KCC was dissolved, today are approaching 30 years, meaning they have got children themselves. Meaning that these are people who have accrued a lot of problems, even while educating their children, by serious loans and other kind of dubious work that they have to do, meager earnings that they have had to earn for the last 30 years to take their kids to school. Surely this house must be the house of recourse to them. And the money in question, Mr. Speaker, is actually 205 million, if you round it off. Because there is 100 plus a few coins on terminal dues, but these people were contributing to a circle. They were contributing to a circle. Mr. Speaker, I've dealt with a number of issues in CIPIC, where people contribute to circles, and people are also deducted their statutory deductions that are never remitted to respective institutions. This brings me to saying that while the petition number 1299 of 2013 was a civil petition, and I agree with what Justice Wasilwa did pronounce himself on this labor court and saying that these people must be paid on that petition that was put together by John Barry. Between 2013 and 2018, when the civil appeal 191 of the Court of Appeal squashed the ruling of Justice Wasilwa, that is a whooping 5 years that the new KCC did not take action on the recommendation of the court by Justice Wasilwa. What is that in law? It's criminal. It's court contempt. So the first thing I was expecting the committee to do is to interrogate what happened in those years. Why didn't KCC the new KCC take action on the court decision by Justice Wasilwa? What were they hiding? And those people who were at that time the administrators of this institution must appear before this house and explain to this house why didn't they pay for those 5 years a court ruling that was clear about paying those people who were supposed to be paid. That's the first question. The second question that I was expecting in the recommendation on this issue, Mr. Speaker, if I've contributed to a SACCO, I've put my money, I'm a member of a SACCO today, I'm a member of PACOSO here, I contribute religiously to this SACCO. I know that I might not withdraw all my monies and I know I'm entitled to a number of things. But if this SACCO should come to me and tell me that they are closing the SACCO, there's no money in that SACCO, there's somebody who was administering my money in that SACCO. If they don't have my money, then they must tell me where that money has gone to. If it has been stolen, I must be told that it has been stolen. So that, again, is a criminal offense, in my view, that must be treated as such. And this house must be able to invite those people on a criminal matter. They took the money of these employees in the Maziwa SACCO because they are contributions. The third issue, Mr. Speaker, is the issue.
Senator Eddy.
Yes.
Do you wish to be informed by Senator of Kitui?
The Senator of Kitui can always inform me because he's my leader in the House. I still respect him as my leader in the House.
Very
the
well.
only thing I'm not so sure whether he was working for KCC, but he should inform us at that time also whether he was around.
Speaker, I'm not sure whether the Senator from Migori wants to be informed by a former employee of KCC or his leader. I'm informing him as a colleague. Speaker, even if the money that the employees contributed to the SACCO was stolen, that money should have been insured. Yes. So there is no question of any loss of any deductions by any employee. There can never be an escape route for the people that collected this money. No escape route at all, I think we'll speak.
Mr. Speaker, this is why I'm telling you that I like it when my leaders inform me, because their wisdom surpass some of us who just came to this house recently. You know, he's a ranking member and he's going to be a governor in Kitui. And I think that information is in order, Mr. Speaker, that there should have been all possible ways put to make sure that those contributions are safe. I think that's the point that my senior is sharing here. And I think it is in order, that information is in order, because, Mr. Speaker, if you read Article 41 of the Constitution, under labor relations, it says every person has the right to fair labor practices. Among those, it says that every worker has got the right to fair remuneration, has got a right to reasonable working conditions, and then if you go all the way to 4, it says they have got a right to join any trade organizations, and any employer has the right also to engage them in a collective bargain agreement, as well as to determine its own administration and programs and activities, and to organize and to form and to join any federation. So the employers at that time had all the power to make sure that those contributions could actually be protected through an insurance scheme. But that said, Mr. Speaker, there is even a bigger question of between 1997 to date, if that money has not been given to these people, and we are assuming that if they are not insured, they are still sitting somewhere. Mr. Speaker, it goes without saying that they are accruing interest. Even if it is interest in the best interest of the company or to the employees, these monies must be availed. So, Mr. Speaker, there is an issue here that is very silent, despite the fact that I respect the orders of the court, and the court sometimes does rule according to whichever filing that is given to them. For instance, in the petition number 199 of 2018, the Court of Appeal took this as a civil matter. But, Mr. Speaker, I see a lot of criminality here. There's a lot of criminality in this matter that I wish that the committee should handle as such. Make criminal recommendations. I know there is one that you've recommended that perhaps DCI or EACC should take the matter and investigate further. But where you want to go and investigate this thing further, the people who are affected are still suffering. If for 30 years they have not gotten any recourse, even in court, how do we as a House wash our hands and say, let the DCI or EACC further interrogate this matter? Mr. Speaker, we have got all the instruments of law to be able to bring this issue to conclusion and be able to compel those who are responsible to actually pay these people. Because, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the Employment Act, Section 35, 1C, on termination of contracts, it talks, first of all, about notices that must be given within 28 days. And when those notices are given to people, that section says that they must get their immediate wages and benefits that are due to them at the time of termination. Where am I going with this, Mr. Speaker? If the claim of the courts as is that there was a new organization that came in called the new KCC that took over the former KCC. What happens in corporate practice is that when an organization of corporate nature takes or merges or acquires another organization, then it goes without saying that the ruling element of transaction is the balance sheet. It's the balance sheet of that company. What is there in the balance sheet? It is liabilities and assets of that company. You can't say that I bought this company, I'm restructuring it, and I'm only taking the assets of it. I'm going to benefit on those, but the liabilities don't concern me. If this termination happened legally, which it did in 1997, then it goes without saying that if that institution did not have money, the way it was ruled in the Court of Appeal, that it was under receivership, then it was under receivership because in its balance sheet, this appeared as a liability. So if you took over the liabilities and assets of that company and you're existing now, what argument do you have to tell us that you cannot be able to pay these people? You must pay them because it's part of your liabilities in your books. Even as you continue to build your cash flow and build your business now, then they must be paid. So I want to request, Mr. Speaker, that this committee, to further finish on this particular recommendation, those people who are running the institution now must appear before this House. We are not going to throw the baby with the bathwater and say that this thing should go to another institution to do further investigation and make the people the former employees of KCC keep on suffering. Let them appear before this House. Let those people who have got issues of criminal nature, who ate the money of those who are in Maziwa Sacco, be handled in this House. And then let us do a proper recommendation to ODPP to rein on some people, Mr. Speaker, who actually took the money of these people. So while I support this report to the Labor Committee team, I want to request the chair that make it concrete to the extent that justice can be served by this House, because it seems like those employees cannot get recourse in courts. They have gone to 2 courts. One agrees with them. One recommends that the ministry should take action, and the ministry is lying on a technicality of law. And by the way, we as a House, in such matters, I want to remind you, Chair, that we as a House in such matters, under Article 125 of the Constitution, we actually also sit as a court. So we can make a judicial decision. However quasi it might look like, it is a judicial decision. So let's bank on Article 159, remove technicalities in the pursuit of justice, because these people came to this House to get justice, and we must be able to serve them just justice. So let's avoid technicalities. Let's invite these people in a committee of the whole, and let's deal with it. Where criminal matter appears to be, we say it as such, and ask the ODPP to take action. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support this, and I hope that we will make this